Well, it's a very good morning for some of you. It's a good afternoon or a good evening to you as well. Welcome to the Coaching Cafe. My name is Natalie Ashdown and I'm joined on the line by Paula Jones Hunt. Hello, Paula.
Hi, everyone.
We are welcoming people from all around the world. We've just taken an opportunity to say hello to you, whether you're we have people dialing in from Tokyo, India, Canada, New York, down the road in Melbourne, across the country in Australia. It's so wonderful to have you all join us for our conversation today, which is about innovation as a leadership capability and thinking about how coaching enables new thinking. And may I say up front, it's been presented by myself, Dr. Natalie Ashdown, MCC. But hello, we've got Paula Jones Hunt, PCC. Congratulations, Paula, on your recent achievement of your PCC.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we know you could have achieved your PCC many years ago when you first did your diploma of workplace and business coaching, 1,000 years ago. But you've
Thousands.
completed Open Doors New diploma of leadership coaching and gone to a lot of effort to complete the new diploma, and with that, gone and achieved your PCC. So congratulations, and all the
Thank
messages
you.
of congratulations are coming in. Well, let's acknowledge let's kick off our webinar by the acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge traditional owners, the custodians on the lands on which we all meet today, their continuing connection to the land, waters, and communities of Australia and the lands from all around the world which you might be joining us today. We pay our respects to them, elders past, present, and emerging, and elders from Indigenous communities from all around the world. Well, as always, for our Coaching Cafe, whether you're listening to this live or on your favourite streaming service, we say let's get into it because we've got lots to share with you. And this is the last of our webinars around our Trends series. So we talked about the 2026 trends back in February, and we're talking about the most important leadership capabilities. And we're talking today about how innovation enables the leadership capability, understanding innovation, why it matters, and most importantly, the role of coaching in enabling innovation. So we look forward to connecting with you. Either live via the chat box, you can pop your messages in. As you know, if you are new to the Coaching Cafe, welcome. We're all about creating a shared learning experience, having thought provoking conversations. If you're a regular, welcome back. You know, we always enjoy connecting with you. Feel free to, as I said, to pop a message into the chat box and we will pick up your comments, your questions, your insights, your thought provoking insights in the chat box. Of course, if you are here to pick up your ICF CCEs, that will be available to you if you're listening live at the end of the presentation. Okay, enough of the spiel, the introduction. Let's get into our conversation of the day. We're talking about the 2026 trends, and we talked about our trends that building leadership capability is more important than ever. And we're picking up the research that came out at the end of last year around leadership capabilities that are most important and are even more important. And this is the Harvard Business Impact Study. You can go and have a look at the research there. Uh, and fostering innovation and creativity is number 6 on the list. So we've already talked about emotional and social intelligence, the number one priority. We talked about that in a previous coaching cafe. And of course, we've talked about change across our different webinars as well. We are going to come back after the break and talk about AI as a leadership capability as well and coaching's role. But today it's all about fostering innovation and creativity. And leaders are saying that's even 38% more important than last time we had this conversation, this time last year. So, fostering innovation and creativity, definitely a big focus of organizations that we are coaching in. So that's why we're bringing this conversation to you. I want to offer you the way that we think about innovation. here at Open Door and offer you this as an idea because it really influences our coaching when we're coaching in the workplace. So you might be coaching your managers and leaders in the workplace, you might be doing executive coaching yourself, but it's a way of thinking about things and it's bringing in our grow model, for example, thinking about what is reality and what's our future state that we actually want. And when we think about innovation in the workplace, we are thinking about everyday innovation. So we know that there's a lot of innovation happening around artificial intelligence. We know there's a lot of innovation happening out in our workplaces. Some of us, for example, we coach a lot of people at CSIRO, and CSIRO is our leading scientific, Australia's leading scientific organisation. And we know that there's incredible innovation, world-changing leadership and innovation going on in different organizations that we're all involved in. But we don't all have the opportunity to be part of those innovations. So what we're thinking about in terms of coaching is everyday innovation. Some of us will be absolutely involved in the innovations that are changing the world. And the majority of us are probably involved in everyday innovation. So what we're talking about here in terms of the context of our conversation is a focus on making continuous incremental improvements in our workplace, whilst also potentially working on those bigger change projects. And the way we like to think about it is one foot on reality, what we're actually doing now, and the other foot firmly on the future. So, in our coaching, we're actually helping people think about the current reality and the current state that they are in, and then putting one foot on reality and then the other foot firmly on the future. And all of a sudden, it sets up the opportunity for coaching when we think about innovation in that way. Because every single one of our coaching conversations, in our opinion, is an opportunity for innovation if we think about it that way. Paula, let me just get an insight from you straight up, and then we'll build out this conversation as we go.
I think when you put it into this context, it actually makes it exciting for people in their work. I think often people think, oh, I'm not part of the big project, I'm not in this bit. But if you can help them to understand that you actually can be innovative all day, every day, and it's about thinking about possibilities and what else you could do and how you could do this differently, it actually, so I feel like it gives you a sense of ownership back. It gives you an opportunity to be involved in something, even if it's the own way that you're doing your work. I think it's exciting.
I think it's exciting too, and I can hear the excitement in your voice. I think what it does is it actually allows us to think about taking responsibility, as you said, for innovation and how we do that. And the other opportunity is to be coaching more and more and more around this critical leadership capability if we think about it this way. So, yeah, thank you. So, coaching enables innovation, doesn't it? I'm not telling you all on the line anything you don't already know. In our coaching, we're actually supporting experimentation and learning cycles of our coachees. We are creating that psychological safe space and the safety and the space for actually exploring and having these conversations. We are unlocking creative problem solving and we're unlocking potential through our coaching conversations. And when we do that, we're unlocking innovation. Coaching enables innovation by building a growth mindset, by enhancing people's self awareness and their reflective thinking, that space we give people to really think about possibilities. And of course, coaching enables innovation through strengthening collaboration, ideas, and ideas sharing. So, if we are coaching in our workplace, we are doing all of these things. If I'm coaching a coachee or a counterpart, if I'm coaching a person, then I'm helping unlock this within the person, and that's what's as you say, Paula, is really exciting. So the way that we're coaching is actually enabling innovation. we are also coaching to overcome the barriers to innovation in our organizations. And so we are often coaching around the fear of failure, the worry about risk, concerns about lack of psychological safety. We might be coaching around helping people break down these barriers around silo thinking, an over reliance on past successes. So, past success that gets in the way of our innovation, of our future success. And of course, we are always going to be coaching people around time pressures, the operational focus, so the reality, what's happening in reality versus where we need to go. And of course, I do like to think about this in using your terminology that you use in the workplace. So, the future state, our objectives, our mission, our purpose, whatever it might be. So, the tension and the pressures between the current state and our future state. So, there's barriers to innovation in our organization, and we are likely to be coaching people through our coaching conversations to overcome these barriers. So it's worthy of a conversation if we're picking that up. If someone brings that to the coaching conversation, then we're aware of the different barriers that are going on, and we can be asking questions to bring out those barriers and then to work on, well, how do we overcome those barriers as well? Celes, thank you for your input here. You said that you found that as in an organizational context, systems thinking gives us the opportunity to coach teams in thinking about the present and how the same issue will look in the future as a way to encourage the growth mindset in our daily work life. Yes, you've got a very good pick up there that everything we're talking about can be applied to individual coaching, also our team coaching, and bringing that systems approach, the barriers within the organizations or the circle of influence, the circle of control, bringing that all to the coaching under the surface is a great opportunity as well. So thank you. Paula, anything you want to add here before we get into more detail as well?
Just that I think so the growth mindset is key in here because if you're all because it knocks out a couple of them as we go along. So that fear of failure is a really big one, or getting something wrong in the workplace. And it's one of those ones where particularly in our workplaces, often people have tried to be innovative or tried to put their hand up for something and it got knocked down, and we kind of grow this fear of failure and that risk aversion as we're going along. So linking that through to that lack of psychological safety, if we are opening that up again, if we're saying to people, actually, we want to hear all the ideas, we want to create a space where we hear difference, then it links into that innovation in the organization.
Definitely. Thank you. So let's get a little bit more detail about this and let us show you how we think that our coaching can enable the behaviors of innovative thinkers. And we've had a lot of fun in our past coaching cafes around this. So, what I want to share with you is if these are the behaviors of innovative thinkers, then how can we bring more of that out of the people that we are coaching? How can we also, as coaches ourselves, adopt an innovative coaching mindset as well? So, how can we be thinking innovatively as coaches? How can we bring more of these questions out? If it's this is all, of course, if this is what the person wants to talk about in the coaching session as well. So we're really just offering lots of other ideas that we can draw out. And what we can also be thinking about is, well, if we are coaching around innovation, either individuals and teams, let's really think about the behaviors of innovative thinkers and how we can coach potentially to bring more of that out. So, of course, a person who is an innovative thinker will have the behavior of asking what if questions and exploring possibilities. So, I love that. Isn't that what we're doing in coaching? We're asking what if questions. We're helping our coachees and our teams, the people that in our workplaces, to explore more possibilities. And there is 1,000 questions that we can throw out, isn't there? That we could, when I say throw out, thousands of questions that might come to mind to actually bring more of this behavior out. When we're in team meetings and we're coaching in team meetings, we can be saying, what else can we try? What are the other possibilities? What haven't we thought about? Anything that happens to explore the what if. I love those questions. Paula, let's do what we did in our previous coaching cafe where we just threw out all of the questions that we might ask, and it expands our coaching bank of questions, if you like, around this topic of innovation. Look at me getting excited and passionate because as soon as I start talking about generating coaching questions, I can't help myself but get excited. So we're thinking about other questions around exploring possibilities. What are the possibilities? How can we expand our possibilities? What are other people doing that open up possibilities? Why don't you take the second one, challenging assumptions?
Yeah, so thinking about what are the assumptions that the person is making, and then putting in some questions around how to challenge that. So thinking about what assumptions are you making? What limitations are you putting on yourself based on those assumptions? Uh, where did the assumptions come from? How could you challenge these assumptions? It's just about delving deeper into it.
I agree. And traditional ways of working. I love questions around what are the traditional ways of working that we need to take forward. And the next question could be, what are our assumptions about the traditional ways of working that keeps us grounded in the past as opposed to our future state? Now, that's a very, very long-winded question that probably wouldn't allow us to pass an MCC exam because it's too long-winded. But we can say what of the traditional ways of working are actually holding us back? As opposed, and the other question could be, what of the traditional ways of working do we need to bring forward? Something along those lines. We've got the next behavior of innovative thinking is experimenting with new ideas and learning from failures. So, questions that I would think about things like how can we experiment? What would this look like if we were just experimenting? What new ideas could we experiment with? Should we be experimenting with? What can we learn from past successes? What can we learn from past failures? You can see just with these topic sentences, if you like, we can generate all of the questions around it. Paula, take us through the next one.
Which is high on my list. So seek diverse perspectives and ideas.
Mm.
So whose perspective have you not heard from? Whose perspective do we need to hear from? Who haven't we heard from at this point? What other areas of the organization do we need to consult with? Who else could provide some additional information that would make this would help us move forward with this? Who could add new ideas to what we're working on. They're just coming because I think when we think of innovation, it links into that decision making and how do we get the best ideas on the table so that we choose the best path forward.
Yeah, lovely open questions. And I do like a where question here as an open question as well. I do like a where else could we get a perspective from? So, where else could we explore perspectives? So, we're thinking about other organizations or other people, or not just people, but organizations and processes and systems. Where else could we open up the opportunity for diversity in the perspective? Oh, thank you, Janelle. Thanks for jumping in. I heard a good question recently, and that question was recently around diverse perspectives. Who would you want in the room if things went wrong? I love that. Thank you. Thanks for jumping in. By the way, yeah, take Janelle's lead, everybody. Jump in with your questions here as we go along. It's not just us generating questions. We've got so many wonderful coaches on the line that we can really share in your experience as well. So thank you. Let's do the next one. Behaviors of innovative thinkers. They connect ideas across teams, disciplines, and industries. So very similar to what we were just talking about. What ideas do we need to connect? Which teams do we need to connect? Where are there disciplines that we could connect? Or what industries could we actually connect to, consider what ideas are outside our system or body of work, if you like, that if we connected to would make a difference? Who do we need to connect to? Picking up on Janelle's lead there, what connections are we missing that if we made, that would make a difference? Or you could just ask, what connections are we missing? If we had that connection, what difference would it make? Where would that make a difference to our process? So again, wonderful set of questions you can generate. Our purpose, as you can see, of this webinar is not to give you all the questions in the coaching bank and give you a formulaic process for doing innovative thinking. We're not doing that. What we're doing is giving you some ideas that then generate the coaching question bank that you would come up with. You're not going to ask all of these questions. You might just pick one or two, but keeping innovation and that stretch of the growth mindset at the top of our mindsets, that's where the opportunity lays. Paula, take us through the next one. I know you're going to love this one as well. Can't help yourself.
I don't know, did you plan it so I get my favorite ones? Um,
You
so,
always know, wouldn't you?
yes. Staying curious and open to learning.
Yes.
So these are those questions about I'm curious about how you're thinking about this. I'm curious about what other innovation there is. But the open to learning is also, and now that we've had this conversation, what's been your key learning from this? What are the highlights that have come out of this conversation? What else could you learn moving forward in this conversation?
Yes, I was delivering a session to our organization just yesterday, and I used I'm wondering what other options we have. I'm curious about what we can do to move forward. So I'm wondering, I'm curious, any of those kind of languages, starting our sentence with that and then adding the question in. I'm curious about what options we have. I'm curious about how we can make a difference here. I'm wondering what we need to learn about each other that will help us move forward. Anything like that. We love these kind of questions. The next one is reflecting on what works. So, a behavior of an innovative thinker is reflecting on what works and what we can improve. Here, the coaching questions jump out automatically, don't they? It's what is working, what can we improve, where are the opportunities, what opportunities do we have to improve? We just roll them. Where can we make the biggest difference in terms of improvement? What do we need to focus on in terms of reality? What does the future state look like? Blah, blah, blah. Off we go. So there's lots of questions that drop out. The key thing for me that I've been noticing across our workplaces, including our own workplace, the behaviors of innovative thinkers, they take time to reflect on what is working. And the key word here is reflection. So, the question I'd like to ask also is, when are we giving ourselves the time to reflect? And what I've noticed, and I was having a conversation with a couple of leaders just over the last couple of days. One leader I was talking to used to travel to work on the train, and that was his reflection time. And now he's not doing that. And so he realized through the conversation we had that the reflection time that he used to have, he's not getting that anymore. So then, of course, the obvious question is, when can you get your reflection time? Where is your reflection time? Or how can you build in your reflection time? So it's just a good insight that because our pace of our work and the pace of change is so huge in our workplaces, where as leaders and coaches do we actually have our time to reflect? And if we've lost it, how can we build that back in? Because in my opinion, and Paula, you can tell me what your opinion is, we cannot be innovative if we do not have this reflection time built in some way. Oh, Marcel, thank you. You've said pause, Pause. Perhaps another unseen solution exists. Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Paula, on to our final behavior, an innovative thinker. And of course, these are not the only behaviors of innovative thinkers, the ones we want to highlight given our time available. Off you go.
Which I don't know how this happened, but it is another of my favorite, which is the turns ideas into practical actions. which is he takes great big beautiful ideas and says, and how can we make this work? What part of this can we make work? How do we make this a reality? How do we create the future that we're working towards? And it says we've got these great ideas, and then what are those next steps? What's the practicality of this? How does it go from an idea into the all day, every day that we're doing?
Yes, of course. And for those of you that know me, and you would have heard this in a webinar, over the years, I've always said, never let reality get in the way of a big goal. And of course, then that's where this innovative thinking and turning ideas into practical action come into it. So I stand before you having, come up with all these post-it notes and my team saying, let's turn that into practical action. And then in fact, the better question is, what are we not going to do? So, another good question is, how practical is this? What will we do and what will we not do? Because quite often, innovative thinking does not, quite often, with me anyway, innovative thinking does not necessarily translate into action. So this is where, as coaches, we can, in that wrap up or in the way forward in our coaching, we can actually go, well, there's an opportunity to do innovative thinking. What of that are we actually going to turn into practical action? And I know that not everything I come up with turns into practical action. Remembering when we're coaching teams as well, and if we're leading teams, it's one thing to come up with the innovative thinking, and then we have a group of people who have a plan and they have their way forward, and they've got their priorities and they're working on the highest priorities. And so there's a tendency for innovative thinking to be overcooked, and then it just leaves our teams going, well, which of these priorities do we want to work on now? Because we're unsure. So this is where we need to say, well, what can actually turn into practical? Oh, Madison, thank you. I humbly disagree that this is a behavior of innovative thinking. That's more execution than innovative thinking. Thank you. I think it's helpful that Clifton Strengths breaks those two out for two different things, ideation versus achieving, for example. Thank you. Yes, I would agree with you. Thank you. That turning ideas into practical action is more about the execution in Clifton's strengths, definitely, and also in the strength scope, it's about results, focus, efficiencies, etc. Thank you. I think why I included it here is because we need to think about, and we could also have innovative ways to turn ideas into practical action as well. So that was the frame I was coming from. And at the same time, thank you for disagreeing. I do pick up your point there as well. So thinking about other innovative ways of turning ideas into practical action. And then you actually have, as you said, the execution, which moves into execution, not so much innovation. So thank you. Great. Alrighty, well, here we are. Having really thought about the behaviors of innovative thinkers and then thinking about how we can use these behaviors to shape coaching questions of ourselves, of the people we're coaching, of managers in the workplace, how we can lead innovative thinking through our coaching approaches as well. There's really such great opportunity. It is one of the top 6 leadership capabilities. So we really need to be building this into our thinking, into our coaching, and into our coaching practice. And thanks for joining us on this conversation. For those of that you don't know, our certificate for in workplace and business coaching, we've got a lot of enrollments going on there. And this topic is actually built into our certificate for and built into our diploma of leadership coaching. So feel free to talk more about that to us. Well, we're right on time. As always, for those of you that are listening live, we say happy Friday to you. For those that are listening on your favorite streaming service, we say happy rest of the day to you, wherever you might be listening. Thank you for joining us as always. And as we always say, go well with your coaching and enjoy your coaching. We'll say goodbye for now.